The Guardia Nacional de México, a name that evokes images of strength, security, and service. Created in 2019, this institution represents a new era in Mexican security. Its primary objective is to protect the Mexican people from internal and external threats. The Guardia Nacional is tasked with combating crime, maintaining order, and safeguarding the well-being of communities. Its presence is felt throughout the country, from bustling cities to rural towns. The creation of the Guardia Nacional was a response to the evolving security challenges facing Mexico. Drug trafficking, organized crime, and violence had plagued the nation for years. The existing security forces were struggling to contain these threats. The Guardia Nacional, with its expanded mandate and resources, was seen as a crucial step in restoring peace and order. The force is comprised of members drawn from the Mexican Army, Navy, and federal police. This integration of different branches of the security apparatus was intended to create a more cohesive and effective force. The training for Guardia Nacional members is rigorous, emphasizing both tactical skills and respect for human rights. They are trained to engage with communities, build trust, and work alongside local authorities to address security concerns. The deployment of the Guardia Nacional to the US-Mexico border is a significant development. It marks an escalation in Mexico's efforts to control its northern border and address issues related to migration and security. This move has generated both support and controversy, with its long-term implications still unfolding. The US-Mexico border, a 1,954-mile line in the sand that separates two worlds. For decades, it has been a point of both connection and contention. The recent deployment of the Guardia Nacional to this volatile region has added another layer of complexity to the relationship between the two countries. The decision to send the Guardia Nacional to the border was not taken lightly. It came amidst growing pressure from the United States to stem the flow of migrants and drugs crossing into its territory. The Trump administration in particular had taken a hardline stance on immigration, implementing policies that strained relations between the two neighbors. The presence of the Guardia Nacional at the border is a visible reminder of the challenges faced by both countries. Mexico is caught between its desire to maintain good relations with the United States and its responsibility to protect its own sovereignty and the human rights of migrants. The United States, on the other hand, grapples with the issue of undocumented immigration and its impact on society. The deployment of the Guardia Nacional has raised questions about its role and effectiveness. Will they be able to effectively control the flow of migrants and drugs across the border? Will their presence deter those seeking a better life in the United States? Or will it simply push them to take more dangerous routes? Only time will tell how this deployment will play out. The deployment of the Guardia Nacional to the US-Mexico border is a multifaceted issue with deep historical and political roots. It's not simply about securing a geographical boundary, but about navigating a complex web of economic factors, security concerns, and humanitarian crises. One of the primary reasons behind this deployment is the issue of drug trafficking. Mexico has long been a major transit country for illegal drugs entering the United States. The powerful drug cartels operating in Mexico have fueled violence and instability, posing a significant security threat to both countries. The Guardia Nacional, with its training and resources, is seen as a key asset in combating these criminal organizations. Another significant factor is the issue of migration. In recent years, there has been a surge in the number of Central American migrants, many fleeing violence and poverty, attempting to cross the US-Mexico border. This influx has overwhelmed US Border Patrol and immigration facilities, leading to a humanitarian crisis. The United States has pressured Mexico to do more to stem the flow of migrants, leading to the deployment of the Guardia Nacional. The deployment of the Guardia Nacional has been met with mixed reactions. Some have praised the move, arguing that it is necessary to bring order to the border and address the issues of drug trafficking and illegal immigration. Others have criticized the deployment, expressing concerns about human rights abuses and militarization of the border. The involvement of a military force in immigration enforcement raises concerns about the potential for excessive use of force and violations of the rights of migrants. The future of the Guardia Nacional's deployment at the US-Mexico border remains uncertain. Much will depend on the evolving political landscape in both countries, the effectiveness of the Guardia Nacional in achieving its objectives, and the human cost of this operation. Will it be a temporary measure or a permanent fixture? Will it ultimately contribute to a safer and more humane border, or will it exacerbate existing tensions? One possible outcome is that the deployment of the Guardia Nacional will lead to a decrease in illegal border crossings and drug trafficking. The increased security presence could deter potential migrants and disrupt the operations of criminal organizations. This, in turn, could ease tensions between the United States and Mexico, leading to greater cooperation on other issues. However, there is also the risk that the deployment could backfire, leading to more violence and human rights abuses. The presence of a heavily armed force could escalate tensions at the border, putting migrants at greater risk. There is also the concern that the Guardia Nacional, despite its training, could be susceptible to corruption, given the endemic nature of this problem in Mexico. Ultimately, the success or failure of the Guardia Nacional's deployment at the US-Mexico border will depend on a multitude of factors, including political will, effective implementation, and respect for human rights. Only time will tell what the long-term consequences of this decision will be.